I think we all know this feeling. A new big game just came out and all of your social media pages are clogged with it, and it makes you feel, wow, I really wish I would be playing that too right now. Sometimes that even makes you want to play a game you wouldn't normally like. So you want to buy it and you want to play it, but you know, I am not quite sure if I would actually enjoy it. So you're just kind of wasting your time with it and your money just because you thought, hey, everyone else is playing this, so I should play it too. Just with my other talk videos, I'm just gonna have some random gameplay in the background, most likely Isaac, so if you don't want to see horrendous display of what it means to have zero skill in Isaac, please just keep the tab open while you do something else, as long as it doesn't involve watching my gameplay. As a kid, you don't have that much money to buy every game, probably. You had to play what you had, and even to the death, till it wasn't fun anymore. At least I had to. I didn't got that many new games, and mostly I got one here and there when going to the flea market or when it's my birthday, Christmas, etc. So even when I sometimes bought a game I didn't like that much, I still tried to make the most out of it. Luckily I read video game magazines as a kid already, so it didn't happen too often that I picked a bad game I didn't like. But let me say that one of my biggest mistakes was getting Spyro the Enter the Dragonfly, and that game changed my outlook on life in the worst ways possible. But now as an adult, we have so much information about video games from websites, people you know online, and you can watch trailers, gameplays, reviews to see if you would enjoy a game. Obviously sometimes you can still end up hating, also loving a game you thought you would hate or love and miscalculate. You open up YouTube or Twitter and boom. Your whole timeline or recommended videos are the newest hit game. For example, right now it would be Resident Evil 4, the remake, or soon to be Tears of the Kingdom. Everywhere you look, it's right there. Everyone talks about it, and you will think, maybe I should get it too. So I can talk with all these people about it too. Even if you weren't even hyped for it. There's new games coming out basically every day, so your list of games to play just gets bigger and bigger. And now, especially as an adult with money who totally spends it all in a responsible way, right? Video games feel like a huge all-you-can-eat buffet. You have so many games from the past, so many games coming out, so much to see, so much to do. Back as a kid, that was also a bit different depending on your background. I come from a middle class background, just a totally normal family with a normal budget, I guess. Blessed enough to sometimes get fairly big presents for Christmas, like a GameCube or even a Wii when it just came out. Every Christmas I have to hear the story about how hard it was to get a Wii at Christmas when it was released at launch, because they were hard to get, I guess. The point I wanted to make was, despite being privileged like me, I had a friend who was not ultra rich, but holy fuck, every time I visited him, I was amazed because they had a huge flat screen HDMI TV when it wasn't the norm. Their kitchen had some high-tech microwave where you push the buttons instead of having this thing to go left and right with, and one of those fancy stoves. He had every console known to man and a super fast PC while getting the newest games possible. And compare that to me getting a $20 game, or 20 euro in my case, or Deutsche Mark back in the day. I'm old. Me getting a 20 euro game here and there on the flea market felt like, wow. I had to budget my allowance of like 15 euros a month for entertainment things. So if I wanted to get a full price game, I had to wait 4 months or be a really good boy and do lots of course and write really good grades to get a few bucks more here and there, and have to really behave. What's the point I'm trying to make here? That you don't need all the coolest, newest games when you don't have the money, and you can still play tons of cool, cheaper games. And especially also the newer games when they're already out for a little bit, because they fall in price fairly quickly. And you know what? If a game can be pirated from a big publisher, then don't even feel bad about pirating it either. It's not like they lost a sale because of it, since you couldn't buy it anyways, and maybe you will just get it later on a sale when you got the money for it after you also played it, so you know, yeah, I should now spend the money on it. In the end, a big publisher won't be hurt. Obviously, when it comes to smaller indie titles, I take a different stance. Those need the sales, and it would be nice if you would get them the legal way. And don't even think about getting them cheaper from a shady key site. Use those for big titles if you have to. Indie developers deserve your money for their passion projects, and well, they also need it to create those games. So help them out if you can. But, for example, when you get games on PC, there's Steam sales. But Steam sales can also be a bit devilish. I have to say I have no idea how regular sales on the PlayStation Network or Xbox Marketplace are, or the Nintendo eShop, since I like to buy my console games physically. and also try to get a good price there if possible, which is almost impossible for most Nintendo games, but on Steam you don't have to buy as much as you can when you see a sale. Steam sales nowadays are like sand at the beach. Every 2 weeks there's the Easter sale, the Chinese New Year sale, the 4th of July sale, Gaben's birthday sale. Regardless of where you look, there's just so many nowadays. Back in the day, the summer sale felt special. And it sounds really dumb to describe it like this, but they felt like an event that wouldn't repeat till the next big Steam sale in the winter. The times of flash sales, etc. Now there's so many that there is no need to basically buy as much as you can till there's another sale. You do not need to buy every game on sale possible. If you see a cool deal for a game you always wanted to have, go ahead, buy it. See a cool deal for a game you are kinda on the fence about, wait till next time after you played the games you really wanted to buy and play. You do not need to buy so much. Also, modern games without a Nintendo logo on them fall in price so quickly nowadays. For example, I never had a backlog myself. Obviously, I have a few lists of games for every console I want to play, because I like to watch these videos where it shows every single game released for a console, and how the heck, watching 12 hours of a video about every single PlayStation 2 game was a bit mind-numbing, but I found many games I want to check out and wrote them down. I guess if that counts as a backlog, then I kinda have one, but I'm not in any kind of rush to play them as fast as I can, because I know there is no need. And that's why I don't see myself playing one, and that's why I don't see myself having a backlog, despite technically my list being kinda like a backlog. They're just suggestions for me to play, but I don't feel the rush to play them. Every time I see other people talk about their backlogs and how to tackle it, it always feels like they see it as some kind of job instead of a hobby. You don't have to beat these games. You can just play it for a bit, and maybe if you don't like it, you can drop it and play something else. There's no need to force yourself to finish games if you're not enjoying them, because time as an adult is pretty important. Coming home after work and being all tired and tuckered out, so you just want to have a bit of fun with video games every day, you know, it's not fun if you don't play the games you want to play then. You know what they say, time is too short for games you don't enjoy. Another thing about social media that sucks in this regard are spoilers. You open up YouTube and somehow a dude named The Biggest Loser already uploaded a video of every boss in a new game that is not even out yet and put them on the thumbnail, and if you don't look away fast enough you may see the final boss right in the middle of it and got hardcore spoiled. Same with Twitter. You open it up and somehow people already beat a new game after one day and don't even mark the pics as spoilers, and you know, yet again, you got spoiled. It's extremely hard to stay unspoiled with modern entertainment in our modern times sometimes. That's a lot of times. Even if you don't plan on watching or playing something. That mostly happens with anime to me. Seeing big twists and plot lines spoiled the second the anime airs, because people can't behave themselves and don't even mark their pictures. You get fast clout and lots of likes because they were the first one to poop out their screen caps and theories and things. Luckily, some spoilers are less bad than others. Let's take Tears of the Kingdom for example. I already know I will probably see people posting screens of the new locations and everything unmarked, and environmental, I normally can't pronounce this word, environmental, there we go. Spoilers are not as bad as story spoilers, mostly. At least when it comes to Zelda. I don't care much about the stories there, they're fine, but that's kinda it. So here's something like a cool new location would be a bigger spoiler for me, because I want to explore the world and want to see them for the first time for myself when I find them. But with games like, for example, Danganronpa, for games who don't know it, it's basically like a detective game where murders happen and you have to solve them, and now imagine if you already know who gets killed or who's the killer. It sucks the magic out of it a bit. Obviously, it also depends on the person. Some people don't care about spoilers, but I think most people do. And this is why spoilers are another reason why you want to beat a game or even play it as quickly as possible, even if you maybe destroy your whole own experience with it, because you think it's better to quickly get to the end to see things for yourself instead of the fear of getting spoiled. The easiest thing to avoid that is to mute the words about the game or not follow people who do post unmarked spoilers, but the algorithm will catch you anyways, probably. Even if you don't even watch a video on YouTube about it, it will somehow show up. Saying not using social media is a bit too much to ask, since it's probably a place for all of us where we meet new people and talk to people too daily. So just closing it for a longer time when trying to stay unspoiled is kinda not that possible, unless you really hate social media from the start and barely use it anyways. That's one thing I have to get over myself. Every time I'm bored, I just open up Twitter, scroll a bit, close it, and 5 minutes later I'm already opening it again. Rinse and repeat. I really need to stop using it so much. There are communities and people everywhere for all kinds of games. Just because you are not playing a game on release day does not mean those people suddenly vanish. You will always be able to find people to talk about the game with, exchanging experiences, etc. They're not trying to run away from you. It doesn't make you a loser to post about how you're enjoying Elden Ring for the first time right now, while others are playing the newest hottest Resident Evil 4 remake right now. Not everything has to be experienced at the same time as everyone else. You will always miss out on some things while others are doing them, and vice versa. Don't knock yourself out because of it, and just enjoy the things you enjoy the way you want to enjoy them. The games are also not trying to run away from you either. They will always be there for you to play, unless maybe it's a multiplayer game. Those can die in the time you don't play them. And it also leads to games being pumped to the maximum with battle passes, season passes, etc. to keep you playing it. It does make sense with free-to-play games to somehow make people hooked onto the game, so they're more open to play and also spend more money. And you do get things out of it, like skins and other things, but they just don't feel too right to abuse someone's brain to tell them, hey, if you stop playing, you will never get this cool skin for a character you probably don't even play as. For example, I was one of those stupid people who bought Switch Sports, and it has literally nothing to offer, and it is a big cash grab and has way less features than even Wii Sports Resort, which came out over 10 years before it. I have no idea how Nintendo dropped the ball so hard on it, and soon it is already out for a whole year, and the only new thing that was added was golf, which basically recycles older courses. So yeah, but every week you can grind points to get wearable items like costumes for a character, and somehow I fell for it for a bit. I just played bowling or tennis mindlessly every few days to get my points to unlock this week's new fashion set, despite not fully enjoying it, but I just didn't want to miss out on the item set, even if I didn't think it was that pretty to begin with. But after a bit I finally realized, what's the point of it? Why do I care about getting stupid little cosmetics when the game itself isn't even fun anymore? But despite knowing there's no point, I didn't want to stop, because once you missed the item set, you couldn't get it anymore. And that just feels so bad inside of your head. In the end, you just gonna have to say, frick this. I'm not gonna be the game's little doggy anymore who keeps wanting to fetch the frisbee it throws me, because I'm tired of it. You don't need everything that a game has to offer when it's a multiplayer based game with tons of cosmetics to unlock that go away in time. Let's take Fortnite for example. It has a battle pass, but aside from that you can just easily buy a cool skin that you will basically use forever, and don't really need all the other things from the season pass. And from all the battle passes I ever had, Fortnite was one of the rather good ones. It just gives you so much, and there's like many extra challenges to do to level it up faster, and they're also fun in their own way to challenge yourself. And it's really cheap too, and it even gives you enough V-Bucks and even more than needed to buy the next one if you enjoyed it. Obviously it's all part of making you play the game more and more, but at least you get your money's worth even if you stop playing it, compared to most other season passes that are just truly terrible, like Overwatch 2's season passes. Another thing about multiplayer games is Another thing about multiplayer games is that you get a head start if you buy them on release, and there we come back to the topic of money. Do I really want to spend $70 for the newest Call of Duty on release, despite the next one already coming out next year too, and then it's another $70 because I want to play it on release with my friends? Do I wait and get it at $30 just a few months later? What if nobody is playing it then anymore? And that's a question you can only answer for yourself. Having fun with the boys or the girls is always a good time, but you have to decide it for yourself if it's gonna be worth it for you. Last year I bought FIFA 22. Yeah, I know, judge me all you want for it, but I really craved a football game since I haven't played one in such a long time, and Pro Evolution Soccer, or eFootball, how it's called nowadays, is just legit a dead franchise at this point, so there's no other way to get around it if you want a football game that's modern. And he also felt the fear of missing out and wanting to stay ahead. I bought the release version where you get some extra coins and packages where you can pull new players with, and at least it was fun. It was my first time doing the ultimate team mode where you open packs and get players from them, and in one release everyone uses the same map players, like they're all kind of pretty average, since there are no special cards yet, but after a while the game is full of special cards that are obviously better than the normal ones, and you think, What if I buy a few FIFA points to open some more packs and not just the ones I get for free? Luckily, I never fell into that temptation and my pack luck was actually kinda unreal, and I got some cracked players like Eric Cantona prime moments, and I flipped out despite me sucking with him, because pulling an icon is insanely rare, and those are the moments that get you hooked. I never bought any loot box related stuff in my life, but this was the closest I was, and it kinda made me feel bad for people who easily get addicted to things like this. Stay away from these things, and even I know I still kinda, even now I still kinda wanna buy the next FIFA, even though I think they're gonna change the name because of the rights and all that blah blah, but most likely not. The thing is, microtransactions aren't truly evil unless they're randomized. If you can just buy the skin you want for a few bucks, who cares? Go ahead and buy it if you want to. Being able to only get it through a randomized process where you have to maybe spend hundreds of dollars or euros for just to get a chance of getting it, fuck off. And well, obviously there's also tons of microtransactions that give you better chances to win in the game. Those are also shitty as well. But when they're purely cosmetic, it's not that bad just being able to buy them. And don't even touch gacha games. Just don't do it. Just look at the artworks or at fan art and jerk off to that instead of actually playing them. I don't need to say more about that, I think. In the end, I'm not quite sure how much these words can help anyone trying to tackle their own fear of missing out, but I just wanted to say this, so thanks for listening if you listen to it. I appreciate it, and maybe it actually made a few people think about the way they're gonna approach it, and stop having all these thoughts about how they have to finish this game in that time to move to the next game. Video games are meant to be enjoyed and not ran through just to get to the next. So have yourself a good one if possible, and now go play some video games. Or maybe you listen to this while playing a game, so in that case, go take a break and enjoy some fresh cold water. Or a nice Pepsi. Have yourself a good one. Wait, I already said that. I'm kinda bad with goodbyes and never quite know how to end the video, so